Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Grandstand. It is a date. I said that really fast.
Alex, Alex, now brought to you by Speed times 5. If you can understand it, make sure you leave it in the comment. Because if you can understand us right now, this is definitely not speed up. Well done. If you understand this now, we'll go back to normal because Alex decided to start the intro of like total retard on speed.
Gotta go fast. So, in case you haven't noticed, I'm Alex.
I'm Mark.
It is.
And this is Beyond the
Beyond the
Grandstand.
Grandstand.
Which you don't.
The Mexican Grand Prix was Monday morning for us. It is. This video is released on Wednesday. So we're going to talk a bit about Mexican Grand Prix. First of all, we'll just lightly touch on the Formula Renault Eurocup and some birthdays. So the birthdays, obviously, right now we have the birthday of Formula One's absolute god, Bernie Ecclestone.
Bernie Ecclestone! Bernie, he's our man. If he can't fix it,
No one
hand it off
can!
to some big No, it's hand it off to some big American media company.
Who then make it worse. And sponsor one of the drivers.
Okay,
Bernie Ecclestone. Yeah, so handed to a big American conglomerate corporation, Big Pharma, that sponsor one of the drivers.
Oh, God.
Bernie Ecclestone's birthday. He's 89, and also Lance Stroll is 21. So happy birthday to the two of them.
One of the best place gamers on the grid.
Yep. What is it that every episode goes to hell at the start now? Okay. So yeah, happy birthday to them. Formula Renault Eurocup.
That was amazing. Piastri took the title.
Yep, Oscar
Could not
Piastri.
be happier.
He won race 1.
Arguably Australia's next best F1 hopeful.
Yeah, and Victor Martins, who has been very close. He was actually very close as well, and he won the final round while Piastri wasn't on the podium, but he took second in the championship. The two of them did dominate the whole season.
He did, and Piastri actually had troubled period.
Yeah, but he'd built up enough of a lead, and the fact that he won race 1 in Abu Dhabi also, that kind of gave him enough of a buffer.
Martins was consistent, but not. He didn't start performing extremely well to the end of the season. He was always consistent, but he didn't start performing extremely well to the end of the season. So too little, too late, would you say, for Martins?
Sort of. Yeah, because he dominated the middle of the season and the very, very end. But there was just a few times where he was just short. Like, he had enough seconds and thirds and that, but he just wasn't that
Piastri
little
was
extra
pretty
step.
good. Piastri was that little extra step.
Yeah. So whereas Piastri lost some performance in the middle and at the end, he'd managed to build up enough of a points gain in the other parts of the season that he was pretty much unstoppable.
Do we see any of those two? I'll say those two because it was a 2-horse race.
It basically
for 2/3 of the season. The first third, maybe it was a 3-horse race, but after that it was a 2-horse race.
Yeah, hopefully they both make it up a bit further in the junior categories. That'd be nice.
I definitely see Piastri moving up to F3.
Yep, and Martins, whether it be in one of the F3 championships or even the Euro Formula, you never know.
I reckon he'll go to Euro Formula.
Every year, there's always a driver that goes to Euro Formula and dominates the entire thing. Every year, Euro Formula Open is completely just.
You've got Sato. You got Sato this year doing that.
Yeah.
And I think Sato's also going to F3.
Well, he was in F2 for a couple of races as well.
Could be going to F3 or F2. I think F2 is actually more likely because he's got a seat there now.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he loses that seat to, I would say, maybe one of the two Ferrari juniors that have just dominated F3, and Ferrari will probably pay that seat out, maybe.
Also, I forgot to mention before, Jamie Chadwick has been announced to be racing in W Series again for 2020.
Which I think we discuss that last podcast?
No, because it wasn't announced yet, I don't think.
I think we both agreed that it's a massive mistake for her to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
She's
yeah,
got the pace to race in F3 and F2, or
exactly.
F3 at least.
Which would have been the
She,
right move, but unless there's not enough seats left, which is still a possibility.
but the fact is, she had some money to buy a seat. Doesn't the
Yeah.
winner get £250,000?
Mm.
Or sorry, €250,000.
That's still pretty damn good. Yeah. So obviously,
But
yeah,
so she's made because the fact is, if she stays in W Series, the chances.
you're going
I mean,
nowhere.
it destroys the point of W Series. If the champion doesn't move on and just stays in W Series, what's the
It's
point of
completely
showing off?
pointless. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should institute a rule similar to F2 where the champion has to move on.
Yeah. And yeah, so Mexican Grand Prix. What the hell happened? It was
I
an
mean, first of all,
interesting one.
let's talk about the main talking point. Max Verstappen, did he deserve his penalty? Yes.
Yes.
Should have been 5 places.
And the fact that he ratted himself out as well is funny as.
Oh, he would have got it anyway. He would have got in trouble anyway. There was
Yeah,
no
but still,
way.
that's still funny. He literally said, "Oh, you guys should probably delete my lap time. I broke the rules." Is basically
But
what
then
he's.
he runs like then he should know the rules. It doesn't breaking the rules. I mean, maybe if he exceeded track limits, he'd get that lap deleted and keep his pole. But the fact he did it past an accident scene
And it was a
with
serious accident as
yellow
well.
flags. Regardless, yellow flags mean slow down. Regardless, right?
Yeah. So yes, free practice was
I
not
swear, nearly
overly
every other
eventful.
time. I swear, nearly every other time that's been a 5 place grid penalty
Yeah, it has.
for other drivers.
So yeah, free
I swear, Max
practice.
is getting off.
Alex Albon binned it. Had to get a chassis change. Luckily, nothing too bad happened as a consequence of that. Free practice itself wasn't overly eventful. Qualifying obviously was pretty decent ending. Obviously, Valtteri Bottas nearly killed himself
I
in the
think
wall.
actually, yeah. Now on to the race, I guess. Exciting two thirds. Actually,
Yeah,
no. Let's break it down into quarters. Exciting 3 quarters. Very
and
boring last quarter.
except for the very last lap was very good. The very last lap was exciting, but there
Not
was
not really.
well Perez
It
versus
was 2 seconds.
Ricciardo and the two Toro Rossos versus Hulkenberg.
Mean and the torpedo
Yeah,
versing Hulkenberg plus one innocent bystander that took advantage of it all.
basically. Um, obviously, Max Verstappen got pole but was penalised. Therefore, Ricciardo does get to keep his lap record. Charles Leclerc was promoted to pole with Vettel alongside him. And
And Ricardo even joked about that.
yeah, he did.
Like,
He went up to
oh,
Verstappen and he said he was really angry after qualifying because Renault was really unreliable during it. And then he said to Verstappen afterwards, he was he was upset after qualifying, and then he saw that Verstappen beat his lap record by 1 millisecond. That's a thousandth of a
pissed him
second,
off.
and he got really
That
angry.
pissed
And
him off.
then he saw the penalty and he got cheered up because he knew that he got to keep the lap record.
Didn't he make a jab at Verstappen for it?
Yeah, he said that. What I just said is what he said to Verstappen's face.
I gotta love them. They still have a good sense of banter together. Like didn't have the best friendship on track, but they did banter with each other off track.
Yeah. Apparently, Verstappen is the youngest driver to stand on the podium by 11 days. So obviously, the question that you put in your quiz was wrong.
It's not.
I thought Stroll was younger.
He was.
Hang on a second, let's find out. Yeah, so we had both Toro Rossos and both McLarens, wasn't it? Make to Q3.
What happened to McLaren in the race? That's a bigger question.
Well, the whole race was just a battle of tyres and strategy.
I think McLaren's good on that.
Well, clearly not. Sainz passed Hamilton. He made it up into P4 at the start. So he had a pretty good start.
No, that guy's right. By 11 days. But
Yeah.
I swear I read somewhere it was Stroll. I swear that was what most people thought. I think even the commentators initially thought it was Stroll.
Yeah. I thought it was.
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know, we're talking about our Facebook post for Stroll's birthday, said youngest podium sitter. And someone's just brought it to our attention that that was incorrect. But someone did
By
tell
11
us.
days, which is being a bit pedantic.
Yeah, someone did tell us recently that he was the youngest, and I think they did say that he was youngest. Yeah, Vettel's third and Kvyat's fourth, Magnussen's fifth.
Oh, if you're really trying to prove your point that Stroll is bad by arguing that he's older by 11 days, I mean...
I dare you to say that to them. I dare you to comment that.
I mean... No, but I'm not... If you're really trying to say that Stroll's terrible because he's not the youngest podium sitter by just 11 days...
Well, he's 3 years younger than third place. Or someone just liked Beyond the Grandstand.
More common sense.
Yep. So
you two can gain common sense by liking our page.
Yeah. Thank you, Iego Monfredine. You have common sense.
You butchered that name, Alex. You're going to lose at the like now.
I'm sorry. So the people that we don't know that follow it, I really don't want to try and pronounce this one because I'm scared. It's it's Slovenian. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to try and say that. There's Monica Belgart from Alberta. Justin Bolilin from Roxas City. I don't know where that is. It is in the Philippines.
Oh.
And
is that all?
Marino Milanovic. Marino Milanovic from Domzale.
I don't see that.
Which is Croatia.
We know where that line came from, don't we, Alex? Hey.
Okay, this dude's now
Stefano!
Hey, wait, Mark. This guy's now commented. In the 1982 USA Grand Prix at Detroit, John Watson started 17th and went on to win. Has Stroll made up that many places in a single race?
I mean, you said on the grid. Ask, is he on the grid right now?
This is going to get censored.
It better
This whole bit's going to get cut. This whole bit's going to get cut.
I have to leave it in, but it's going to be a lot of censor beeps again.
Oh, no, it's got to be cut, Alex. Alex, cut it.
You have to cut it. Are we still recording?
Yes.
Alex, you're an idiot.
Okay, let's just stop this abruptly so we can just cut from the start to you saying, "Are we still recording?" I'll just have one of those. I'll have the color screen with the different colors on it, and it just goes beep, and it just cuts to Stefano saying, "Are we still recording?" Yeah. All right.
All right.
Okay. So,
and then we talk normal. So we'll reintroduce it, and we'll just say Stefano's joined us now.
Stefano's now joined us, in case you haven't noticed. Yeah. So the race itself, I don't even remember.
3, 2, 1. Yeah, we were just finishing up talking about the race. We hadn't gone over the podium yet. 3, 2, 1.
Ferrari cucked themselves. McLaren cucked themselves. Williams cucked themselves. Although, yeah.
Somehow, for once,
Toro
Renault didn't
Rosso
cuck
cucked Renault.
Toro Rosso didn't cuck Renault. Well,
A Toro Rosso cucked A Renault.
and for once, Renault did not screw up the Ricciardo strategy.
No, it was just his he ran wide at turn 1 on the last lap while trying to extreme late
Not the
brake.
last lap.
Yeah, it was when he went to pass Perez.
No, it wasn't the
Was
last
it
lap.
second last?
No, not second last. 5 laps to go.
Oh, whatever. Who cares? It was toward the end. Tried to pass Perez and didn't get another opportunity after that.
Yeah.
And then
I
obviously
think that's really the race.
last corner, torpedo mode engaged and Kvyat completely just launched Hulkenberg into the barrier.
And he got a big old 10-second penalty for it.
Yep,
For
which
that.
is pretty damn big. Like, that demoted him from P9 to P11.
I mean, technically, if Hulkenberg couldn't reverse and he was stuck there, he would have kept P10,
Yeah, exactly.
which is a bit of a
The
joke.
championship looks a bit quirky now as well with the midfield. I mean, after the Renault disqualification in Japan, it was the two Renaults and Norris were tied, and Kvyat was one
I don't
point
agree
behind
with
them.
that. I don't agree with that. I still don't agree with the ban or the disqualification.
We can't change it though. What's done is done, and it made the
yeah.
midfield battle more interesting, if anything.
We know who we already know who got on the podium. Now let's go for our favourite section of the video.
Do they know who's been on the podium? The championship still rages on. I mean, I use that term loosely. If Hamilton scores another 4 points, the championship's over.
Regardless of where Bottas finishes, he just needs to score 4 points.
Ferrari managed to cuck themselves with tyre strategy because the entire race is all about tyre strategy. And Mercedes
hang on,
managed
let's just get this over and done with. We've already said this. Podium first was Hamilton, then Vettel, then Bottas.
Yep, then Leclerc P4, Albon P5, and Verstappen P6.
Albon has once again beat his teammate.
Yeah, and obviously Perez 7th in his home race, Ricciardo 8th, Gasly took 9th and after passing the collision, and Hulkenberg crossed the line 11th after the collision, but was promoted to 10th after Kvyat got penalised.
Now on to our favourite section. Has Tatiana Calderon scored a point yet, Alex?
The answer is...
Yes.
Has she, though? In her dreams.
In her dreams, yes.
And there hasn't actually been a race this weekend as well. There hasn't been
an
FP
let's
race.
Let's be honest.
Would
if
she
there
have
was an
scored a
FP race, no. Would
Odds
she have
are
finished on the same lap as everyone else?
Maybe.
No.
Realistically, probably not. It's more likely than scoring a point.
Would she have crashed at some point?
Probably not. She actually finishes. Luckily.
In define finish.
She drives extremely slowly to make sure that she doesn't crash. Mika Hakkinen, yeah, he's finished.
So I think that is us done.
What about a
short episode? Not much in the news.
What about a quick pits take, huh?
No one really took the pits out of, really.
I mean, we could do Bernie. I know we already did.
Really take the pits out of.
I don't know. Stroll maybe, but we don't have anything bad to say about him.
Stappen admitted his mistake, so we can't really go after him.
That's right. Leclerc said that the strategy thing was his fault, even though it was more Ferrari's.
Which means we can't really go after Ferrari or him, because
I mean, we could go after Ferrari and McLaren. I mean, good God.
No, but Ferrari's taking the blame, and so is Leclerc. They've both taken the blame equally.
Yeah.
Which means...
What about McLaren, though? I mean, seriously, in case people... Obviously, we didn't mention any retirements. Kimi Räikkönen retired in the garage. We're not 100% sure why.
I think that is the... To be fair to them, Mexico is probably the one track you do not want to start in the top 10 on soft tyres on if you're in the midfield.
Yeah. And also...
The teams behind you on equal pace will just out-strategy you and get ahead of you anyway.
Lando Norris' team did not put a tyre on correctly. And that caused his retirement. And
Wait, McLaren. Wait.
And
Since when
Carlos
did
Sainz
McLaren get
fell
bought?
down from P6 down to P13,
I have a
where he
question.
finally finished.
Since when was McLaren owned by Haas?
I know, hey, taking a page out of Gunter's book. Made themselves look like
La
a bunch of
Gunta.
wankers.
Oh, I cannot wait for Drive to Survive. I think I'm looking forward to that more than Abu Dhabi. Well, which is Abu Dhabi. I'm looking forward to that more than any Grand Prix now, actually. Drive to Survive Season 2. How good is the first episode going to be? Like, because no doubt the Haas will talk about what happened last year, and then it will happen again. No doubt.
Yeah. You cannot argue with stupid. Jesus. The guy's still going.
You see. Okay, this is the end of this episode. Hope you enjoy. Sorry for a short episode. Not much happened. We've actually.
We haven't had much to talk about, really. I mean, yeah. Oh, Robert Kubica pulled off a hell of an overtake on George Russell as well. I think.
Then immediately fell back down the grid.
And well, yeah.
Then immediately fell back
he had
down
to
the grid.
quickly. He had a puncture or something, so he had to. Yeah.
Why did you just?
You turned off your sound.
I didn't.
It popped up that your sound got muted.
I was Stefano. I reckon he tried to click. He was clicking his mate, then he clicked
Oh.
accidentally.
Well, Stefano, did you accidentally put Mark on mute?
Maybe I must have hit the wrong hotkey.
What the hell? We just heard you, but it said that your mic was off. Okay.
What?
Okay, we're good. What?
Stefano, mute your mic.
What's going on?
You left your mic on! We're recording and we just hear you break the silence and go.
I thought I muted it!
No!
I legit thought I muted it! There's a button here! Really?
It was silence, then we just hear cling.
You don't want to know where that cling was from, Stefano. Especially after you made that sound.